said to myself, if I continue down this pathway, I surely will be lost. Because after all, this cannot be the will of God. God does not desire us to serve idols nor false images. Case.
Here recently, my life has come full circle because I realized that all of this knowledge stuff that we preachers fancy ourselves after doesn't mean a hill of beans to God. I've discovered that all of this deep study doesn't mean anything to God. And coming from me, that's really something, because I like the deep stuff. And I can rub elbows with folks on deep philosophy and theology and, systematic concepts, and I can come with a few things they haven't heard about, and I like doing that kind of stuff because I really believe that God has given me the capacity to produce knowledge on the spur. They call it revelative knowledge. I know that I have the ability to look at a text and just do it like that because He's given me that capacity. I owe it a lot to the genes that I came from, my mom and father. I owe a lot to the way I was raised, but the reality is God has tagged me to do that. So it would be easy for me to brandish myself as some great philosopher. But I've learned that it's not important, and I've been having fun on the internet, particularly this week. Oh boy, I'm just stirring it up. And I'm going to come back with some cleanup in a minute. But right now the Lord said provoke them to think. And I had one person, I love this one when I get with the deep folk who try to go deep with scriptures, talk about isogetics and exegesis and exegesis and hermeneutics and homiletics. And the Bible says study the scriptures. And I hit him, I said, well, tell me, what scriptures was Paul talking about since there was no New Testament? Conversation ends then. Because nobody thought about that, right? What scriptures did he say study? Because then I further went on to say to this young man, I said, I think Paul would have a problem that we call his letters scriptures. You really think about it. He's writing personal letters and we have dubbed them as something important to us, and he probably have a problem with that. I'm just saying. And so I've learned that in the stratosphere of thinkers, people pride themselves as intelligent. And I came down to this one conclusion, that only God's only concern rather is that we preach salvation. God doesn't care how many angels danced on the head of a needle. He doesn't care how the Holy Ghost comes and all that kind of stuff. He tells us by faith, right? Amen. That's how we please God. And faith is a precursor to not knowing but just trusting without understanding. That's what faith really is. And so I've come to that place in my life, and as I've been teaching the clergy in our sessions, that the paramount and most important thing of your ministry is that of winning souls. If you never understand hermeneutics and homiletics and get into eisegesis and exegesis, it doesn't matter to God, because that's just fodder for fools.
I said to myself, if I continue down this pathway, I surely will be lost. Because after all, this cannot be the will of God. God does not desire us to serve idols nor false images. Case.